My name is Katerina Ivanova, and I work at Netcentric as a requirements engineer. As you can see on my screen today, I'm just going to talk about my story working in the analytics world with analytics technologies, and I would like to especially point out to you that I really started from scratch, and I will finish the story with our big success, and everything practically the team achieved at the very end of the project. And I'm going to tell you how we were doing the project and how we should all do the project successfully. So let's get started. As you all know, our society and technology are driving very fast. So if we want to, of course, stay informed, we need data. In order to have data, we need to look for data. So in our technology world, how we gather and manipulate the data is what we do with our analytics tools and with analytics technologies, of course. So the outcomes and the goals of this talk, especially for my colleagues, would be to give you an awareness, an idea how our analytics project looked like and how every analytics project should look like. And of course, to give you a motivation in order to be able and to stay motivated and to be challenged to work in this topic. Of course, on the other side, I would like to awake the love for analytics in you, and of course to have a smooth sailing in our projects. So on the next slide, I will start with my story. So basically, I was very new in Netcentric. That was almost 2 years ago. I was also new in AEM, and I was completely new in analytics. So as you can see, this puppy on the left side, I was just like this puppy. So I was waiting to find out more about the analytics topics, because just right after I joined, our colleagues, one of my colleagues, proposed me to if I can join the analytics project. So I really didn't know what that meant at that point, but I said yes, of course, because I really wanted to find out something more about it. And yes, I was there waiting. I was happy to start a new thing, a new project, to find out more about some new in the IT industry. I was ready. I was challenged, but I was ready to start at the same time. So on your right side, as you can see, this light bulb. Right after I was assigned to the project, I plugged myself in, and I really started enlightening at the same day. Started diving in the analytics topics, and of course, I really soon started utilizing myself. Yes, so next, on the next slide, you can see my path to the great understanding I achieved at the end of the project. So the start looked like this. I was there and I had no clue about analytics. These Chinese characters here, hopefully I translated them via Google Translate, they mean I have no clue about analytics. And I specifically put them here because I hear from many of my requirements engineers colleagues, but also from different pathways people, I hear this phrase very often. No matter if we talk about the project itself or we talk about analytics, everybody very often they say, oh, I don't really know about that, and I feel somehow challenged when I have to work with that because I really don't understand, and I can't start without any basics. So really, at the end, I didn't know the goal. Even for myself, I didn't know what this project would bring to me. But then, as soon as I started, there was a team. I wasn't alone, and I'm really glad and grateful because the team was there every time. So the great team collaboration was something that really, really helped me to get the basics and even more. There were, and there still are videos recorded regarding analytics, catching all the basics, but also all technical things which one person needs to know before starting a project. You can find the link down there. So there are two streams of videos. One is the business stream and the other one is technical stream. The team really took care for everybody who might have knocked on that door at that time in order to get themselves involved and to get the real knowledge. So yeah, we worked as a whole, we worked as a team, we asked questions all the time, we simply collaborated really, really closely. Yes, so how the project started. Before one analytics project starts, we need to be aware of the project and business goals. In one word, of the KPIs. So after we know the KPIs, we need to create the solution design reference document, which is called in short it's SDR, or we also call it the dictionary of variables. The dictionary of variables, or the SDR, is simply one document which is readable and understandable by everybody. And it should be like that because on one project we have technical people, we have business people, we have semi-technical people. Everybody should understand what we are tracking. So exactly this is the document which is telling us what we are tracking and what are the main KPIs. In the first column we have variables, and these variables are just simply placeholders for the action we want to track on the website. Action means action done by the user. So at the last column, you can create your own SDR document, but this is just a simple example how we did it. So we have an examples of what we wanted to track and what's the goal we want to achieve with the tracking. And then we have the action the user is doing. Like, for example, a user clicked on a form field, then we have an event there which is called form start, because the system needs to know where the form component has been started. And then if that happens, we need to save that in some variable recognizable by the system and the code, so we can send it further to our Adobe Analytics or other analytics platform. So based on that, we can further create another reports, or to pull out and manipulate with data, and we can get whatever we want. So yes, we have the signature at the very start of the project in agreement with the marketing consultant team and the customer. The KPIs are established, and we can go further with the development of the ticket. Yes, so now we are coming to the basics of analytics terms, and let's see what we have here. As you know, first of all, you need to have your website up and running, and you need to also have the nice structure on the website, and you should be aware what you need to track. Then, yes, we have the visitors on the left. So as soon as we have our website up and running and ready, and we know what we need to track, we are letting our users to come to our website and visit the website. Yes, By that, we already have an analytics implementation, and as soon as the user accesses the website or any page of the website, we have a page view performed. Once the page view is performed, we need to save that page view to save, yes, this is the page the user accesses, this is the domain and all information we store based on analytics tracking, and we save them in a web variables. Web variables are just, as I said, placeholders for all actions which the user is doing on the website. All of those actions and events are triggered and saved in the data layer, which is practically a JavaScript code installed on the website itself. After the data layer saves all information of what the user did of the website, we have the Adobe Launch or any tag management system which is listening to the data layer, and then they pick up the data. After the data is picked up by the Adobe Launch triggers a specific tags, creates a specific tags and send them to Adobe Analytics platform. Yes, so these are this purple rectangle here is presenting the analytics. Those are the three main building blocks of the analytics implementation. And of course, after the data reaches the Adobe Analytics server, we have there the report suite. And here, practically the marketing operations or the business, they manipulate the data and they pull out reports based on that for whatever needs they have. Yes, let's take a look once again of the analytics flow overview. Let's say we have our visitor on the website, and they simply perform scroll action. Our analytics implementation says, yes, guys, we have an action, an event which happened, and the action is user scrolled. On the other side, what we wanted initially to track is the scroll event and the page URL where this scroll event happened. So as soon as the user performs the action, we have the data layer, which is storing and organizing the data in the way we want. Practically, the data layer is, in the developer language, is just JavaScript object, which is really excellent for creating and organizing the data in the way we want. And by that, we actually know where to find all the data after some action happens. After the data layer catches those events, for example, we have the page URL, which is stored in some data layer element X. And then we have the scroll event, which is captured in the data layer element Y. After the data layer fired these events, those events are catched by the tag manager, which is again a JavaScript file installed on our website. And as soon as the tag manager catches those events, we also have the variables assigned to their corresponding actions. So the page URL, let's say, is assigned to the variable X, and the scroll event will be assigned to the variable Y. After that, the tag manager sends those data to the Adobe Analytics server, and in this way we have all the data already reached the Adobe Analytics server when they can further be manipulated by the business or the marketing team. Yes, so as soon as the data reaches the Adobe Analytics platform, we have there the business, as I mentioned, and the marketing team, the marketing operations, or anyone who knows how to pull data, and everybody who wants to find out something about the data we track. So basically, as soon as the data reaches the Adobe Analytics platform, we are trying to build reports based on that, and we want to find out more about everything we track on the website. So we want to make some correlation between the data and the user flows performed on the website. So we want to know how many page visits we have, and what kind of pages are the most visited ones. We want to know if the, let's say, videos we post on our website are really valuable for our customers, and they can easily find the data they need by just going and simply scrolling on the website. And by tracking every action we want to track and achieve some goal with it, we can find out that by analytics implementation, and then by pulling out some reports, which you can see here. As soon as we have those reports, it's very important because they somehow build the basics and the starting point of the business further decisions. So it's really, really important that we know what we do and what we want to do, what we exactly want to track, and after we see those results, we can act upon that. So yes, we came to the specification stage, which is a really important part for me and all my requirements engineering colleagues. So the specification part was created in a very clear way, but before that we had to establish a nice communication flow. So how everything happens: we have the client on one side, and we have the Netcentric team, of course, on the other side. First of all, we have the marketing consultants at the very beginning, who are strictly and closely collaborate with the client on any new request. So as I mentioned at the beginning, we need to find all the KPIs and all the goals of the tracking we want to have on our website. We talk about variables, we talk about which components on the website we want to track and in which way. So I have a form, but what do I want really to achieve with that form? Do I just want to track that the form exists? Or maybe I want to track the start of the form, how many users started the form, but how many users ended and submitted the form successfully. So we agree about the components and their behavior. We agree on the variables, of course, in which variable we want to store a particular data. Yes, we agree on the KPIs and the goals. After that, we have the tracking request received by the client. And here we have few examples. For example, I want to track a form. I want to track poll questions and answers, and how the user interacts with the poll. We have videos on the website. We want to know what percentage of one video has been played. Do the users play the video completely until the end, or it's simply not useful enough, so we need to adapt it and change something? In a similar way, as an example here, like how many documents the users downloaded, and so on. So first, we want to start from the user behavior. What is the user behavior we want to track, and on which components? Then we go in which variables we want to track those actions. And also, it's very important that you agree with upon the data layer elements, because the data layer for us played a crucial role, and it's just a unique source of proof of the data we track. By having simple and clear data layer structure can really ease the whole process of tracking, and everybody can be aware exactly where to find all tracking information. So the specification should always catch these three crucial points: what we are exactly tracking, and why we are tracking it, and how we are going to track it. And this is not important just for requirements engineers, but it's important for the whole team, because we all need to know what we need to track and why we need to track it, and how, what is the technical way of of the what is the technical way of how we want to track something. So this is just a simple table which I created here. Our specifications were more complex, but they were really enough simple for everybody to understand what we track and how we track it. So you have listed, you need to list, of course, the AEM component we want to track, because the page is built by our AEM components. Do we have any conditions or exceptions when the user interacts with this component which might influence the tracking? For example, we had one component which in its dialogue there was a just clear checkbox saying I don't want analytics tracking. So as soon as you say yes, I want to track this component, but in order to track it successfully, that checkbox should be just true, because I want to track it. Yes, then we have the variables we want to store information in, and at the end, of course, we have the data layer element based on what we want to track. So we and the whole team, requirements engineer, marketing technology engineers, and front-end engineers, we were agreeing upon the data layer structure and elements we want to store them and to ease the process. So let's take a look of one link tracking example. Yeah, let's say this is just a simple structure. We have our homepage. We have header, menu, links all over the page. And then, yes, let's say we want to track links which were clicked on the homepage. I'm a user, I go on my website, visit it, and I click on link A on the homepage. What we have here, as soon as I enter the homepage, I have page view. And it's very important to have the page view first, initially fired, because the page view has all important information stored in the data layer, like which is the exact page we are accessing. Is it a German page? Is it, I don't know, Spanish page or some other country pages? And we need to store here all the information, because we want to know where the user exactly accessed, so we can relate this page view event with all other following actions that the user might do. Then, as soon as I access the page, I have link A clicked, and there is a cookie which is assigned to me as a user. Yes, so if we resolve here link A keeps the link of the homepage, which is HTTPS something. And I also have information that the link is stored in the menu area. Then what's next? So just to capture this once more. So here I'm on the homepage, and I want to track which link is clicked and from which area of the page this link was clicked. So I can possibly collect all information about the most clicked links on the homepage and where exactly they located. Is it somewhere in the header? Does the user even scrolls down to find out if there are more actions or more links, or the page is just too long and too complicated, so the user don't focus on the content below? So this is the use case. And yes, here we have the link A, which was located in the menu. I have my cookie there assigned to the user as soon as the user clicked on the link. The cookie here brings me all important information. The cookie says, yes, this link was clicked from the menu, and the data is the link of the page URL. And the cookie says, okay, we have information on page actions. Then what do we need to do? As soon as the cookie stores all those information, the cookie should be decoded, so the further information can be stored in data layer and page variables and can be sent to the Adobe server, Adobe Analytics platform, so it can be further, of course, manipulated, and marketing engineers can see what they really need to see. So the cookie is decoded, the data layer element, of course, receives value, and the variables are already set to track the value. You can visit one real example here on our UBS page, which we did. I can also show it to you now. So, okay, agree to all by opening the developer tools. Sorry, I will have to clear this. So right now I'm on the home page and I want to click here, find more. In that case, if I go to the cookie, because the cookie won't be here because we set it to be deleted right after it's assigned, but those information about what we track can be found in the digital data in our data layer. So if I go there, I will see page attributes, and then I will find my information. So on the next slide, you will see how we defined, this is just an example, but this is just how we defined our data layer structure, which was the most important things for us. So basically, the data layer is a JavaScript object in terms of developers, and it contains all data in terms of um, key and value pairs. So the data layer practically gives us the whole structure and information of which information and which data can be found on the page. So this is just a simple example. The data layer structure can be accessed by the developer tools in the console tab. And you can, if your data layer is defined, you can find it by typing digital data, and then you will have all those key and values there assigned. So for example, here we have digital data, we have the page, and in the page we have structure like page info, then page name as a sub object. Then we have some destination URL and referring URL. In our case, that would be the destination URL would be the one of the link we clicked, and the referring URL would be the home page from where we initially clicked the link. And yes, so if you want to find out more about data layer, you can also check the link below, because this is the official data layer structure we used on our UBS project back then. This might have changed in the latest period, so I recommend you to consult every time with your technical team in order to find out which data layer structure you are following. So after data layer captures those events, they're picked up by Launch, Adobe Launch here on the image below, and then sent further to the Adobe Analytics platform. Yes, this slide really, I want to highlight this slide and everything I have here, because really the team collaboration, the team spirit is the most important thing in every project. You should always be there for your team, and the team should always be there for you, so you don't be shy to ask questions or to even schedule meetings very often, because you really need to get the basics and the whole understanding in order to be able to work successfully on the project. So just support your team and be there every time for your team, as we all strive to do. Yes, on the next slide, I will just point out some useful tools we used for testing point of view. Um, yes, you can simply access the the developer tools by Command F12, or for just right-click inspect and to see what's happening in the background while you're performing some actions on the website. By that, you can see practically if the system really tracks what you wanted to track. I used Omnibug as a Google Chrome extension. It was really reliable back then for us, and really just shows you how the events on the page happen and how all those information are stored in the variables you defined. So it's really useful tool. So I'm pretty sure you can rely on that. If not, you will just have to go to the network tab, then in the console tab or application tab in order to monitor your cookies. Yes, so at the very end, the team success is priceless, and also the overall success is more than obvious when you work together from the start until the end of the project, and you all collaborate, you share all knowledge. You also involve the client here because the client needs transparency. They need to know what we do. They need our support. We need to guide them how to do the things better on their way. And of course, at the end, just we all need to exceed the highest standards and leading with impact and stick to our Netcentric rules. Um, yes, so once again, I have the link down there if you want to learn more about analytics and how we do the things in Netcentric. I really suggest you, if you have time, to take a look on the videos, which are just very beneficial. And thank you very much. If you have any questions, you might find me katerina.ivanova@netcentric.biz. So yes, see you soon. Bye.